The destructive fire in Southpark led to 15 construction workers having to be rescued. 2 are still missing this morning. Investigators still piecing together what led to the massive fire. It was what was going to be a luxury Southpark apartment complex. The call for the fire came in around 9:10, and at that point, it was considered a 2-alarm fire. That designation gives firefighters an understanding of the resources needed to stop the fire. But before long, the fire worsened, becoming a 5-alarm fire. Temperatures inside the fire reached over 2,000 degrees, made worse because of the open exposure to the wood within the construction site. 15 construction workers, as we mentioned, were rescued. Some firefighters also had to call for help for themselves while working to put out the fire.
At several maydays. That means a mayday is when crews get trapped or have access issues of escaping due to the fast-moving fire. And a mayday is required when we have to send other firefighters to rescue those companies. And we had 2 of those as they were attempting to rescue all of the construction workers that were in the building at the time.
North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper releasing a statement on the response to the fire. Cooper says he's grateful for the firefighters and first responders working to keep people safe from the Southpark fire in Charlotte. Now, fire crews continued their search for answers this morning. Queen City News reporter Savannah Russell live in Southpark with the latest on their efforts. Good morning, Savannah.
Hey, good morning, Julian. So far this morning, we've seen some crews working on different things. Some working to kind of douse those hot spots still. Others trying to start that investigation process. What we're looking at right now is we're seeing that one of the Charlotte Fire Department ladders is just heading up. They're retracting it right now, but they're heading towards some of the wood parts that's still on the side of that cinder block elevator shaft. That has been kind of smoking just on and off all morning long. And so we're finally seeing some of those fire crews start to head up towards that way. But again, they have been monitoring this all night long and all morning just to make sure that nothing else reignites into being something that's dangerous whatsoever. Firefighters, they had worked yesterday morning for about 4 hours, really battling those blazes, trying to get those under control. Now, their top priority, of course, was to get everyone out of the building that they could, especially all those construction crew members. One of the biggest challenges, though, that they had was to get a crane operator down to safety. He was trapped 160 feet above the ground. Now, that position put him really in the thick of the smoke. At some points, you could even see him try to use his high visibility vest as a mask to breathe through. Firefighters tried to focus on the flames directly around the ladder for fear that that ladder might get too hot and collapse. They also had to pour water directly on the crane itself to keep it cool so that he would be eventually able to cool down. Now, this is what their conversation sounded like just before that rescue.
Park 21, we've maintained contact with the crane operator. High heat in the cab, getting pretty thick out there for him to breathe. He's looking for some relief. You got to put ladder 2 straight up to protect the crane operator. Crane operator is 160 feet above the ground. We're evacuating the Bravo division except for ladder 2. It's the only thing between them and the crane operator. There's too much residual heat where these structures sit, but it's the only thing keeping that operator safe. I need ladder 24 to flow anywhere they can as high as possible onto the crane so we can keep the metal cool. Hey, Belcher, a 200-foot piece of rope, a hasty harness, a couple carabiners to the crane.
And that crane operator was one of 15 people in the building that crews helped to get to safety. Now, fire officials say in a tweet, this search process is likely going to take a very long time just because of how much structural damage the fire caused. And they tell us that they'd love to be able to provide an update just as soon as possible. Haven't yet given us a timeline exactly as to when that is. But as we can see this morning, just with the sheer amount of crews that we see out here on the ground, we understand that that investigation is well underway this morning, both inside what's left of that building and as well as some of those structures around it. So we're going to keep you updated both on air and online at qcnews.com with any more information that we receive from officials today. Reporting live in Southpark, Savannah Russell, Queen City News.
And Queen City News also looked for any indication of potential problems with this particular construction project. We didn't find anything for the site that caught fire. The project, known as Madeira Southpark, was on its way to becoming 2 buildings for more than 200 apartment homes. The city's permitting database shows city leaders issued the builder permits back in 2021. There are no workplace safety violations listed.